We're just going to wait 2 minutes or so for everyone to get here. Welcome at 7:02 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. The Tooele City Council is meeting in a business meeting being held at Tooele City Hall in the council chambers located at 90 North Main Street in Tooele, Utah. We are also streaming this electronically on the Tooele City YouTube channel. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please rise and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our second item is a roll call. Councilwoman Manzione.
Present.
Councilwoman Goches.
Present.
Councilman Hanson.
Present.
Councilman McCall.
Present.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I'm also present. Our third item is the public comment period. This is the time for the public to address the council. We ask that you state your name into the mic. You keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and there's a paper by Shiloh and Michelle that we ask that you sign. The time is now the public's.
City Council and Mayor Wynn, my name is Megan Blazard.
My name is Shelby McBride.
And my name is Brooke Hill.
And we're here from the Grantsville High School girls golf team to thank you for your support. During my freshman year of high school, I was looking for a fun, easy sport to try. At my first day of golf practice, I quickly realized that while fun would definitely be involved, there was nothing easy about it. Through my 3 years of golf so far, I've improved a lot and my life has really changed. Participating in golf has introduced me to new people, places, and adventures, and I've gained a lot of skills that I'll use for the rest of my life. Being able to play and practice at Oak Hills has made a huge impact on all of us, and we are so, so grateful for allowing us to play there. Thank you.
We wanted to give this to Mayor Wynn and the City Council just to say thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That was nice.
And my name is Rick Harrison. I'm the boys and girls golf coach at Grantsville, and fortunate enough to coach those three wonderful ladies that you just got to hear from. And I just wanted to follow up and also express my appreciation as a coach. I think this is my 8th year coaching golf, and Oak Hills is our home course, even though Tooele isn't our home. And we appreciate you as a city council and Mayor Wynn for the graciousness of letting us play there. Our kids love it. They feel well taken care of. Cody and his staff are awesome. I just want to express my appreciation to him as well. He's gone out of his way to help our program and build our program, and if kids need clubs or need anything, he's there to help, and and normally does it at a discount and doesn't make as much money as he could, but I know he cares about these kids in the program, so I want to thank him and appreciate him. And just let you know, I was out playing today. The course is just beautiful. It is just an awesome golf course, and Brian and the entire staff do a great job with that course. You have a gem. And just a couple last things I wanted to share. As we go around and play in state tournaments and I get a chance to talk to other coaches, we kind of compare notes about the courses that we call our home course. And everybody is jealous of the arrangements and the situation that we have here at Ochre Hills. And even though it's not in our community, we're treated like we are part of the community. There is no other school that has a better deal or a better setup for their golf program, and I want to thank you and appreciate it. And Mayor Wynn, I'm sure you remember, Mayor Wynn sang the national anthem at the 3A Girls State Championship here a couple of 3 years ago. And every year, the coaches from Ogden talk to me and say, I remember when your mayor of Tooele sang that national anthem. So the support is just overwhelming and appreciative. And again, I just want to say thank you. And I know my time's up, but I just want to throw one last thing in. I spend a lot of time at England Acres because I have 4 grandkids that play flag football, and I just want to commend you for what a beautiful, fantastic facility that is, and the work that's going into it and the things that are being done. Just, it is really, really awesome, and it's a gem, and the community should be very grateful for it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Just right here? Okay. Right there behind, that's fine, or we can come this way. Cody. We love pictures. We do.
We.
We.
No, sorry, there's Marisa behind you.
Marisa always has to
Trying to get
because she
Marisa. Trying to get Marisa's face. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're still in the public comment period, so is there anyone else from the public who would like to address the council? Okay, seeing no one come forward, I will close the public comment period, and we'll move on to item 4, which is the state-funded grant previously funded by VOCA, the Victims of Crime Act, presented by Valyn Matson, the City Court Victim Advocate.
Good evening. I was here just a few months ago, went over a bunch of cases that were adjudicated in court, so I don't have any of those today, but we are moving forward, and there are a lot that are progressing, so hopefully next time we'll have quite a few more cases to tell you about. I do have one, though. We had a Tooele City homicide that happened in 2016. That one did make it to trial in May and was found guilty by the jurors and will be sentenced probably this fall. And at that point, the victims of the deceased will be able to come and do their victim impact statement. So we're glad that that's come to a close at this point, or will be closing soon. One thing about what to say today, I went over some crime trends that we've noticed in our office, so not necessarily in the whole police station, but what's come through the Victim Advocate's office. I compared July to December of last year from January to present of this year, and some of the things that have gone down are domestic violence and aggravated assault. Sexual assault on children has stayed about the same, which unfortunately is pretty high. We've also had an increase in burglaries and stalking. In the past 6 months, we've done 65 orders of protection. That's child protective orders, adult protective orders, criminal protective orders, and stalking injunctions. And with those victims that we've worked with, we've had some emergency funds that we've helped them with emergency hotel rooms, food, rent so that they can stay in a safe place. We've helped them with transportation to get to court so they could testify at trials. We found that the victims between the age of 30 and 44 are our highest number for victims of crime that we work with. So our new grant cycle will start July 1st, coming up, and I thank you for all of your support. Do you have any questions for me?
No questions, just thanks for
Okay.
all you do. We know it's a difficult job, and you do great.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just also want to express my appreciation to Valin and thank you. In a couple of weeks, you're going to be approving a budget, and we have increased the hours for Valin. Unfortunately, we need to increase those hours, but we will make her a full-time employee. So thank you, Valin, for your service.
We'll move on to item 5, an ordinance 2025-10, an ordinance of Tooele City enacting a temporary land use regulation amending Tooele City Code Section 7-26-3 regarding water rights exactions, presented by Roger Baker, the city attorney. I don't know what that was, but.
Bell for you.
Wasn't me. I'm happy to be here presenting this to you this evening. I want to thank Paul Hansen, who presented this item in a work meeting several weeks ago when I was away at training. I've enjoyed working with him and Jamie in the formulation of this ordinance, and we first began discussing it with outside counsel a year ago, and we've come to the point where it's just time to present this to you this evening. The city exacts water rights from developers as a kind of, to offset the impact that those developments have on our water rights. We charge impact fees to offset impacts on our water system. But for water rights, we actually require impact fees. That ordinance was implemented in 1998. I helped draft it, but at the time we retained one of Utah's foremost land use attorneys that represented cities, Jody Burnett. Some of you may know that name. He's since retired. But the city council at that time passed ordinance 1998-10, and that ordinance followed the very same process that I am recommending to you tonight. So this ordinance would change Title 10, would change a provision in the city's land use code. And the normal state rules for making those changes require a presentation to the Planning Commission, a hearing with 10 days' notice, public hearing, and then we would bring it to you again with a public hearing on the agenda, and then a formal vote from you. With the Planning Commission's recommendation in mind. That process allows what is called a temporary zoning ordinance or a temporary land use regulation. The state allows us to, and the U.S. Supreme Court, allow us to enact important ordinances on a temporary basis while we have a chance to study and get more permanent rules in place following the full public process of public hearings, Planning Commission recommendation, and then your vote. The ordinance that passed the permanent regulation in 98 was 9838. And so if this ordinance passes, we would then go through the process, the full public process of bringing a new ordinance with a different number to go through that process. In the meantime, we would study whether this is what we want to recommend as a permanent regulation. This is such a simple, small change compared to enacting a whole new regimen or ordinance like we did in 98 that we don't anticipate needing a full 6 months or very long, and we don't anticipate needing to make major changes, but that would be your prerogative. What we're talking tonight about is Section 7-26-3 that give you and the administration the ability to decide what water rights you will accept from developers for the development. It's a really important question because water rights are capable of disappearing if they haven't been used for a period of time. So when we accept water rights from developers, we want to make sure that they're still good in the eyes of the state. For example, that they've been used, what the term is, put to beneficial use in the last period of years. And there are other risk factors that we want to look at. For example, water rights are capable of being split into different water rights numbers, and sometimes those water right numbers later come back to overlap. So while you may own 2 water rights with the same number of acre-feet of water, it's very possible that they're duplicative of each other, and you don't have 1 + 1 is 2, you have 1 + 1 is actually 1. So we have to go through that due diligence to decide if the water rights are good. And Paul Hansen, our city engineer, is very good at that. And we also consult with outside water rights experts to check the state records and make sure we're protected. So right now, the city code says that you get to refuse water rights that are offered if they don't meet your satisfaction. In other words, there's not enough flow, quantity, or there's some defect in the quality or the history, like the provenance of these rights. But we want to suggest that you add a more specific discretionary right to use to refuse water rights. As the ordinance explains, and as we've explained to you many times, the eastern part of the Tooele Valley is what's called over-appropriated. That means the state has approved more water rights than there is actual water to pull out of the ground. And so the state will not allow any new water rights to be transferred from other parts of the valley into this east part of the valley. In addition to that, we are coming to the point where we may have maximized the water sources that we can find in this part of the valley. So we have the unfortunate match of potential over-appropriation of water rights and potential exhaustion of water sources. And what this ordinance would allow you to do is to reject water rights that don't have any demonstrable potential of being developed in a water source. Because you receiving a piece of paper saying you have the right to pull water out of the ground doesn't mean the water's actually there. And so when we bring water rights to you, we want to make sure not only that the rights are good, but that the possibility exists of putting them in a source, matching those two up. So it's simply this ordinance simply gives you and the mayor and her staff an opportunity to look at the water rights, see if they can actually be developed, and if they can't, to reject them for not meeting the city's needs, not giving the city what it needs to be able to supply the water. So that's kind of a detailed explanation. But if you were to approve this ordinance tonight, it would be good on a temporary basis for a maximum of 6 months. And during that time, we would hope to come back to you through the Planning Commission with a permanent, I say permanent, even though the council could change it at any time going through the process, but not a temporary ordinance under this special temporary ordinance provision. Can I answer any questions for you?
Mr. Chair, I've got a question. I appreciate that your explanation and it's really well written, but I just wondered who is responsible to determine what the water, if a water right's deficient or in the city, because it just says the city. So I just kind of wondered who is the responsible party for determining that?
Right. Well, the ordinance would give you, as the legislative representatives of the city, the discretion. It also include the mayor in that discretion. It's not in her executive authority. It doesn't parse those out. but that's the city. And then you in turn would rely on your staff to advise you on the acceptability of this water right. But the State Division of Water Rights is also not only an excellent resource, but the buck stops there. They tell us if a water right is good, can be used, and where and for what purpose and how much. So we would work with the state in determining whether a particular water right is acceptable.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just had one
Yeah,
more
go ahead.
question, probably rhetorical, but applications that have acceptable water rights and are found to have a developable water source, they will not be denied and not impacted by this.
I don't anticipate that they would be. We would have no reason to reject them. But ultimately, we need the city to be able to have the discretion to decide which water rights meet our criteria of acceptability. And if they don't, to reject them. But if everything indicates that a water right is acceptable and can be developed with a source, we would have no reason to reject it. And we accept them. We have accepted them for years on that basis.
Thank you. Okay.
So I think I'm a bit confused about the whole thing, because it seems like if there's a water right that somebody has been able to purchase or have, that at some point was made off of water that was in the ground. And now we're saying that's not the case? Or we can make that water certificate invalid because we think there's not the water in the ground? Does that seem like it's opened us up for something?
Well, I appreciate the question, especially the part about whether we have the power to invalidate a water right, and we don't. But like any purchaser of any real property right, we have the right to dig into the title and see if it's an acceptable property that we want to spend our money on or put our resources into. So as far as whether the threat is real, I don't even want to think of it in terms of a threat. I just want to think of it in terms of you having as much discretion as I can give you legally without being arbitrary and capricious to determine what water and property interests are in your best interest. But there are some large water rights owners in the valley that theoretically could want to bring their water rights into Tooele City for development purposes. And if someone were to bring 1,000 acre feet and say, here you go, turn on my tap, it could cause some challenges. And we want to help you avoid that.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? And this really just gives us the 6 months to discuss it more, right? And
Yes.
come up with a more permanent ordinance, so.
And I would take your direction as to when you're ready to have something brought back to you. But for now, absent additional input, this would be our recommendation. But that's up to you.
I see this as a protection to the city and that this is a very good thing.
I agree.
I do too.
Councilman Hanson, I'd be very happy to talk with you more
Yeah,
today or offline. And
yeah,
so,
I appreciate that.
sure.
Okay, if there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2025-10, an ordinance of Tooele City enacting a temporary land use regulation amending Tooele City Code Section 7-26-3 regarding water rights exactions.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Goches and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
You know, I'm just really uncomfortable with the thing still, so I'm just going to abstain from voting, because I know it's just a temporary deal, but I think I'm just going to abstain. I'm not
Okay.
going to vote against it either, but yeah.
Okay. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 4-0 with one abstaining vote. or no vote. I guess it's not a vote. But one abstaining.
Abstaining, not vote. Yeah.
Item 6 is ordinance 2025-17, an ordinance of Tooele City amending Tooele City Code 10-2-7 regarding designated truck routes for large vehicles, presented by Adrian Day, the police chief.
Thank you, council. We spoke about this in a previous work meeting. Problematic truck route we have in Tooele City. After discussion, the changes would be removing 2 streets, Pine Canyon and Drew Bay, from the east side of town. These streets were not a route. There's no trucking businesses such as on the depot and near Tooele Tech in the area, and it does not give trucks the ability to maneuver back to a state road. And we get many complaints of parking on Drew Bay. Also, this ordinance would remove the option of written permission from the police chief to deviate from the routes stated in the code. I support this as Section 4 covers already when trucks can deviate from this route for deliveries, pickups, construction, and businesses and such. It also makes the route very clear on the west side. That's wording's changed a little bit, including Utah and 1100 West, to take out the argument. It's shorter to go on our neighborhood streets, past high schools, past our elementary crossings. Makes it clear on where to go when you're going on the west side, especially to the depot. It also takes out parking as a Class B, that is civil, and Class B driving on it. You have any questions for me, council?
Any questions or comments? We discussed this in our last work meeting. Okay. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we approve ordinance 2025-17, an ordinance of the Tooele City amending Tooele City Code 10-2-7 regarding designated truck routes for large vehicles.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall.
Aye.
Councilman Hanson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches.
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione.
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 7 is Resolution 2025-48, a resolution of the Tooele City Council amending the Tooele City fee schedule to increase the non-resident library card fee, presented by Chase Randall, the library director.
Good evening, council. So coming before you today, currently, if you reside inside the Tooele City limits, then obviously your library card, you get that for free as part of your taxes that you pay. However, if you live outside of Tooele City, currently the fee that we charge is $30 per year for someone to get a card. So we have almost 1,000 non-resident card holders currently. The lion's share of those are Stansbury Park, Erda, and then Grantsville, a couple Stockton, and a couple Lake Point. So this fee was last changed in 2015, so it's coming up on 10 years now since this fee was last adjusted. And so what I did to come up with this number is essentially I took what is the library's budget and I divided it by the number of residents we have here in Tooele City. So currently that number is $32.93. So essentially, residents currently are slightly subsidizing the non-resident cards. So the true cost for each individual Tooele City resident is $32.93, but we're only charging non-residents $30. So this is meant to ensure that our residents are not subsidizing the non-residents. By raising it to 40, I anticipate that it'll set us up for at least the next 10 years, if not longer, that I won't have to adjust this again. That depends on how fast our population grows versus how fast the budget grows, and how if those stay even or not. This increase would not go into effect until July 1st, so fiscal year 26, and the new fiscal year on July 1st, 2025. So that gives us a little bit of time to inform people, give them a little bit of heads up of this change. And just as a comparison, for example, Salt Lake County charges $180 per year. However, they're using a household-based model, whereas this we charge according to individuals. And then Grantsville is only $10 a year, but I think they also need to do that same math that I just explained to you. Also, we have a lot more books and have a lot more audiobooks and ebooks as well. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any of them.
So starting July 1st, when someone comes in, a non-resident, they would pay $40.
Yes.
And then all those who have paid 30, just as they expire, they'll.
Yeah,
start
so
to
if
renew.
someone, for example, we had someone come in today, I overheard at the desk was from Stansbury, and she got her card, paid the $30. So then this time next year, when her card expires, she'll have to pay the $40 then. So,
Okay.
okay.
Hopefully you don't have a mad rush before July 1st. but-
Yeah, well, if people come in.
Saves them $10 for
we'll
a
see,
year.
yeah. It's $10. It's not a ton. So.
It'd be good, though. You'd have more people going to the libraries.
Yeah, right. It's so if the more non-residents we get to come in, that helps subsidize the library's budget, right? And it's less of an impact on our taxpayers here in Tooele City. So,
I think this is really good. And
Yes.
okay, any other
speaking
questions?
as someone who's had a Salt Lake County Library card, it's a lot cheaper, yeah.
I mean, admittedly, their collection development budget is
It's larger.
a significantly larger. What they find in their couch cushions is what we have for our whole budget. Right?
But we're happy for it.
Yes, no, we're
We
doing
also
great.
provide the service of interlibrary loan. And so
Yes.
you can access anything in the state of Utah, any
Yeah.
collection. So that's a great benefit.
Yeah, and we're part of the Beehive Library Consortium. So if you have the Libby app, essentially, most of the libraries in the state participate in that. So that's another big benefit for people too. So, okay, any other questions?
No? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-48, a resolution of the Tooele City Council amending the Tooele City fee schedule to increase the non-resident library card fee.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Goches and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 8 is Resolution 2025-49, a resolution of the Tooele City Council consenting to Mayor Wynn's appointments of Denise Hall, Jesse Lloyd, and Kalani Masserino to the Library Board of Directors, presented by Chase Randall, the Library Director.
All right, thank you so much, City Council. So today we've got 3 new board members that are going to be appointed to 3-year terms. We currently had 9 members on the board. However, 4 of them, either their terms are up or they're resigning for various either personal reasons, or one is going to Chicago and things like that. So I interviewed 5 applicants and have selected 3 to present for you, and I've talked with the mayor. We want and need board members who are engaged and care about the library. So we currently have 4 vacancies on the library board, and these 3 will almost fully staff the board. That puts us well above the state's minimum of 5 members. So the first person that I'd like to present to you today is Jessie Lloyd. She can stand if she'd like. So Jessie Lloyd was born and raised in Washington State, where she met her husband of 10 years, Jared Lloyd. They have 4 wonderful children, 3 boys and a girl. Jared works hard to provide financially for the family, while Jessie stays home with the children and homeschools them. Jessie loves spending time outdoors with her family, camping, shooting, fishing, and hiking. She loves tending to her little backyard flock of chickens and gardening each summer. If she could fit a farm in her backyard, she would. When the weather is not ideal, she spends her time inside creating patterns for her Etsy shop and doing other crafts. During her 4 years in Tooele, she has gotten to know a lot of great people in the community and would like to become more involved and help keep the Tooele City Library a great resource for the enrichment and betterment of the Tooele community. And I'll add that I see her frequently at the library, constantly coming in, and it's a great utilizes our services a lot. Thank you, Jessie. Next, we have Denise Hall. So for Denise, the Tooele City Library has played a meaningful role in her life over the past 23 years as a Tooele City resident. Denise has worked for Tooele City for 5 years and enjoys working with the public. Denise has served in the Tooele County School District in various religious aspects and with the Boy Scouts of America and at many community events. Each year, Denise and her family look for families to help around the holidays. Denise is grateful for this opportunity to give back to the library by serving on the board. She's excited to support the library's mission and help ensure it remains a welcoming and valuable space for everyone in our community. Thank you, Denise. And then lastly, we have Kalani Mascherino. She can stand as well. So she's excited to be part of the team that helps support the library programs, services, and future growth. She has been volunteering as a friend of the library for the past few years and hopes to be a liaison between both boards to help each other be the best. Whether it's expanding access, improving resources, or just making sure the library stays a welcoming space for everyone, Kalani is glad to be involved and to help however she can. Her family has lived in Tooele for 15 years, and have always enjoyed what the local library has to offer. Recently, they all enjoyed Cowboy Poetry Night. Her kids have attended many activities over the years, and she never shies away from sharing with people how they're missing out if they're not using their Canopy movie and TV show streaming account. And I'll just add that her work with the Friends of the Library has been very valuable. The Friends of the Library was able to donate and help supply a lion's share of the prizes that we're doing for our summer reading program. So thank you. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. No questions, but thanks for volunteering and being on the board.
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-49, consenting to Mayor Wynn's appointments of Denise Hall, Jesse Lloyd, and Kalani Mascherino to the Library Board of Directors.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Manzione and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 9 is the Library Annual Report presented by Chase Randall, the Library Director.
All right. Thank you, Council. It's that time of the year again for my annual report to you all about the library over the last year, and I've got some exciting things to share with you. I'm coming up on 2 years now in this position as the library director. It's 2 years ago in a week and a half that I was appointed this position. So time flies when you're having fun. So to start off, some of our statistics from our inventory, our annual inventory that we do every year around Thanksgiving. So we had 49,282 items in our collection. That counts books, movies, spark sets. Basically, if you can check it out physically, that's what that number is counting. And that stayed about steady in the last year, just with the natural attrition of books, plus what I've purchased, it stayed about the same. Our number of electronic items, so this is ebooks, e-audiobooks, basically if you can check it out digitally. So we're up to 449,356 titles are available on the Libby app for people to check out. And we also now, the new service that we've rolled out, the Canopy, which is we now have 34,875 movies or TV shows that patrons can check out via the streaming app Canopy. We only had 57 items that grew legs and walked off this year. That's about half of last year, so we're trending in the right direction. Just every year, they always somehow just sneak out on us. But all right, and then here's some of our usage statistics. So our number of total library visits, we had 160,258 total visits this last year, and that's about 13,355 a month. So that's actually an 8% increase over the year previously. So the library is getting a lot of usage, and this is just counting how many people are coming in and out of the library doors. And then our card holders we're at 9,340, of which 816 or 9% of the total are non-resident card holders. So roughly about 22% of Tooele City residents have a Tooele City Library card. Our number of physical checkouts is 174,344, and our digital checkouts was 106,305. So you can see we're about a 60-40, 62%, 38% split between physical checkouts and digital. If I was a gambling man, I'd say that's eventually going to even out the other way. I don't think physical checkouts are going anywhere anytime soon, but I expect maybe a more 50-50 split eventually. And just as a note with the cardholders number, so that's actually down a couple thousand from when we last talked at this time last year. However, the reason for that is when we switched over to the new catalog system that we launched back in January, as part of that switchover, we also did a very deep cleanup of our cardholders. So I'm confident this is our accurate, true, like rock solid number. And we also got a lot of people coming back into the library with the new system that now if your card had expired, you couldn't use Libby, which under the old catalog system, it let you keep using Libby even if your card had been expired for a couple of years. So I know, for example, Councilman Brady had that issue that I had to help him
I
fix.
did too.
Yeah. Yep. So that brought a lot of people back in, and we actually saw a big surge in people paying their fines and fees for books that they hadn't returned because they're like, oh wait, now I can't use Libby. So they came back in. So I'm confident this number is our accurate, true number, and that's going to be one of my goals is to get that number up. Next, so here's some budget and HR statistics for the library from the last year. So this last year, we've had a lot less turnover in the last year. We only had to fill one position in the last calendar year, and that was one part-time library technician. We've got an amazing team, and I love working with my team. They're all good, hard workers. This year, I did not request any sort of budget request increase, except for obviously just the COLA adjustment and the step increases. And we actually were able to take out $10,000 from the budget, and that helped bolster the city's capital expenditure fund. And the reason that I was able to do that is last year, I told you guys that we had done $16,573 in non-employee cost-related cost savings in fiscal year 25, but I'm happy to report, like with the catalog switchover as well as getting the new boiler, we're able to save roughly $55,493 this year, and so that's where that $10,000 came from. Additionally, our library revenue in fiscal year 25 was about a 10% increase over the previous year, so it's projected to be about $36,000. So I don't know that it won't change significantly with the non-resident fee increase, but it'll be nice to see that number going up as well. Next, so our technology utilization, we had 21,038 uses of public computers or Wi-Fi in fiscal year 25. Same thing, we're seeing about 10% increases, 8%, so the library is growing fast. It's awesome. 46% of those was from the public computers, 43% was people using the Wi-Fi, and then 11% of those was from the Wi-Fi at the Aquatic Center and the Del Papa Park that we broadcast to from the library. Next, so for our library programs, our summer reading statistics from last year is we had 2,865,128 total minutes read, and that's 500,000 more than the previous year. So summer reading's also growing really quickly. And we had 1,529 active participants, which is 368 more than last year. So summer reading's currently going on right now. So I encourage everyone who's listening to hop on and you can log your minutes in the Beanstack app, and we have lots of amazing prizes. Our story time, tween and teen activities, young adult and adult programs, we had 263 total programs in fiscal year 24, and we had 14,278 attendees at those programs.
Wow.
Next, I just want to kind of talk about some of the projects that the library's done in the last fiscal year. So the big one of the biggest ones was we got that new catalog system back in January, which is both significant cost savings for the library, but also a much more improved experience for both staff and for patrons. And then there you can see in the picture, we've got our stamped concrete, and we've got the beautiful buffalo out there in front of the library. We were able to put stamped concrete in that park strip, which will reduce our water usage. And we're getting ready to add that tree, Councilman Brady. Don't worry, there's a nice spot there waiting for it. The next thing is we've added some xeriscaping and water-wise landscaping around the library. I anticipate to do more of those projects this coming fiscal year as well. And there's some pictures of some of the landscaping that we've done. And then our other big project was we got a new boiler put in, which is good because the old one was on its last legs. And I have some pictures in the slide. Oh yeah, so there's the pictures of some of the landscaping, the water-wise landscaping we've put in. And if you go to the next slide, so on the left there is the new boilers, the new heaters for the building, and on the right there is the old one, a big giant hunk of metal. I did not envy the building maintenance team or the guys that came to put in the new boilers. I did not envy them trying to get that big giant hunk of metal out of there. So it was quite the ordeal watching them try to get that thing out of the library. So that's also been going to result in some decent cost savings as well. And those are the big projects that we've done for the library. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Good job.
Thanks, Chase.
Thank you.
Great work.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on to item 10, which is Resolution 2025-50, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with SKM for SCADA system design work at the Water Reclamation Facility, presented by Jamie Grandpré, the Public Works Director.
Good evening, Council. So this resolution is part of our Phase 1 upgrade project that we're currently in design with JUB down at the Water Reclamation Facility. This is for SKM, who is our SCADA integrator, to come in and start looking at the design for the SCADA system and the electrical instrumentation and controls. And so it's a $36,000 contract. It is kind of just not to exceed that amount. And so it could just go up from anywhere from 0 to 36,000. So whatever the work that they put in is what they'll charge us for, and then just whatever it is up to that amount. So pretty basic setup. Just kind of basically it's just going to be for the UV portion of that project, the UV upgrades that are happening in that Phase 1 project. So kind of not a whole lot there. So I can answer any questions if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions. Anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve resolution 25-50, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with SKM for SCADA system design work at the water reclamation facility.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0.
Thanks. And I just want to mention to Dave, too, that was only $36,000. So
You know,
I was waiting
was
for
going to
that.
say something, Jamie. I really was. And I said, no, I'll let him slide this time.
Thanks, Jamie. Item 11 is Resolution 2025-47, a resolution of the Tooele City Council declaring surplus certain technology-related equipment and authorizing its disposal, presented by Michelle Pitt, the City Recorder.
Thank you. From time to time, I bring you items that they're technology-related equipment items that are no longer capable of meeting Tooele City's technology needs. And tonight we have a list from the Police Department's IT division. It's quite a long list of items there. And it's our policy to keep the items for as long as we can to see if we can use any parts from them. We've met that time requirement, and we're just asking that you declare these items surplus. We'll try to recycle as many of them as we can.
Any questions or comments?
A lot of stuff.
That was a lot of stuff.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-47, a resolution of Tooele City Council declaring surplus certain technology-related equipment and authorizing its disposal.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Thanks, Michelle. And then item 12 is invoices and purchase orders.
And we don't have any tonight.
Okay,
So,
great. Item 13 is our minutes from May 21st, 2025 work meeting and the May 21st, 2025 business meeting. I thought they looked great, as always, so thank you. Any corrections?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Manzione and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. And item 14 is to adjourn at 7:47 PM.